Come on in, pull up a chair and take a load off because today I'll be unboxing and taking a first look at Apocalypse Road from GMT Games, designed by Carla and Jeff Horger. And we will be heading on down this highway right after this. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned in the open, we are going to take a first look at Apocalypse Road from GMT Games. But first, let me remind you that if you end up liking this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this, also inform you when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs right here on YouTube, Monday through Thursday nights, as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. Of course, when you are not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, so without further ado, we are going to be taking a look at Apocalypse Road, which is from GMT Games. It is designed by Carla and Jeff Horger. It is for 2 to 10 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 90 minutes or more. Of course, number of players is going to have a lot to do with that. It is available right now and carries an MSRP of $72. So let's swing on over to the other camera because, ta-da, here we've got Apocalypse Road. Got to be honest, this showed up just a little while ago. I got a fresh batch of goodies from GMT Games. This is a title that I have been very, very curious about. So I am super excited to crack this open and dive on in. So let's flip this on over. I'm going to take some of the shrink off. No, I shouldn't say some. All of the shrink off. Yes, I'm only going to take a little bit of the shrink wrap off. All right, so let's take a look here at the back of the box. I'm not going to read everything on here, but it says, in the bleak future, after the collapse of our modern technological world, the world has become a vast wasteland. Through it all, men still choose to compete and challenge each other in the various arenas. Auto racing is one of these sports that will not die, but the rules no longer apply. The racing circuits are no longer about speed and guile. Now they resemble high-speed demolition derbies. The most famous organized racing competition of them all, the Apocalypse Road, is run by callous thugs and monsters who encourage drivers to arm their cars and literally destroy their opponents. It is the Roman Colosseum reincarnated. Yes. So we are seeing here that we've got a game complexity 4 out of 9. Solitaire suitability is low. And that's also the case with Carla and Jeff Horger's other racing games, Thunder Alley as well as Grand Prix. So that is not surprising. One thing I will mention, this box has a lot of heft to it. This is a pretty heavy box. So we're going to find out what is inside. All right, come on, box, open up. It's funny, I keep looking at Apocalypse Road, and I keep thinking of that Steve Earle song, Copperhead Road. It's like, let's go racing down Apocalypse Road. Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. Yeah, all right. Enough of that caterwauling. It's not singing by any stretch. All right, so we got a rules of play. We have some, it looks like we've got some player mats here. I was looking to see if we had possibly a playbook, but there isn't, which is fine. I'm sure that info's already going to be in here. This should be, I don't want to say super rules light, but it's not going to be extremely crunchy. I'm just going to push that out of the way for a second so we can take a look at the rules. And you know what? I will actually zoom in a little bit so we can get a better view. And let's just make sure that that is nice and in focus for everybody. But I was going to say that Thunder Alley and Grand Prix aren't super, super crunchy rule-wise. They're not real easy. They're not super rules light either, but pretty easy. Once you play a little bit, it all fits together very nicely. I'm a huge fan of games like Steve Jackson's Car Wars, the Osprey Games miniature system Gaslands, which, to be honest, is almost like Car Wars miniatures, to be like 100% honest. I love vehicular combat games. I have a soft spot for Death Race 2000, the original, with David Carradine and Sylvester Stallone I think that was like one of his first movie roles. All right, so we get an overview talking about the components. I understand we get 4 different racetracks, so that will be very cool. So we've got team mats. That's what we saw there for a second. We've got the cars. We've got the setup. Talking about our sequence of play. So we have turn versus action segment. Important concepts: current leader and running order, lapped cars, retirement or elimination. Now, in Thunder Alley, we had a lot of info about like drafting and things like that. One aspect of both Thunder Alley as well as Grand Prix is the cool concept where cars are all moving together. You don't have just an individual car move and then it's the next player's turn. You have cars all kind of moving together. It's pursuit movement is effectively what that is. Very cool. Really liked it. And it really does lead to, you can have a lot of cars on the track and it allows you to really feel like this is a race. Not where like a lot of race games where you might have like 5 or 6 cars on the track and it's supposed to be like Grand Prix or NASCAR or something like that. And it just doesn't feel like a real race, where in Thunder Alley and Grand Prix, it really did. It really did feel like you've got a whole field. You're racing as a team. So looks like a lot of this, and it's been quite a while since I actually played Thunder Alley, but it looks like a lot of this is going to be pretty similar as far as the racing aspects of it. One thing that is new is combat. So combat is brand new. So I thought I saw something about ramming. Yeah, ramming movement right there. So we've got combat, we've got targeting. So we have damage boxes, it looks like. Yeah, there we go. We got damage boxes. So we've got basics of damage markers. So we've got event cards that'll come into play as well. Ending the race and winning. Oh, here we go. Rules for integrating Thunder Alley or Grand Prix. Very cool. Note from the designer. So all in all, we really have 12 pages of rules. And as we saw, there's a lot of images here. So it's not just a bunch of text. It's not a wall of text as far as the rules go. All right, then we get the counter sheets here, as well as a glossary and an explanation of the race cards. So there we go. That is the rule book. Let's see what else we've got here in the box. Let's pull this on back over here. So we've got here are the race team mats. So we've got a variety of different race teams. So we've got the Hazleton Mountaineers, the Thunder Miners, Extreme Hazard Road Racing, the Deadbeats, Gelato Division, Beckett Bakers. So you can see they're from all different areas. Archmage Engines from Baraboo, Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, good old Baraboo, Wisconsin. That's up near the Wisconsin Dells. Velas Rangers, Pockets Racing, and Big Damn Heroes from London, England. I will tell you one thing, though. These overhead views of the vehicles really does remind me of Car Wars. And the artist, gosh, was it Dennis LeBeau? Was that his name? I think it was Dennis something. I used to love the Car Wars art. And he'd do like the drivers and stuff. And then he did a ton of artwork for Steve Jackson Games. All right, so here we've got the cars. So you know what we'll do? We're going to zoom back in a little bit more. There we go. That way, once again, got to make sure that everything is nice and focused. Reason why I do that is because I know a lot of people watch these videos on big screens. They'll watch it on TVs, things like that, big monitors. And I don't actually see the video when I'm shooting it on a huge monitor. So sometimes it looks in focus to me, and then after the fact, it's just a wee bit out of focus. But this looks nice and sharp. So we have the first sheet of counters with the different teams on them. How many cars do we have? 8? Yeah, we got 8 for each team. And they are various different colors. And we can see the color coding here. It looks like one of these is almost like a station. Or no, I'm sorry, it's a truck. And yeah, maybe like a minivan or station wagon. I'll show you that in a second. So here we've got these. And let's see what we got on the back. Oh, I thought we'd have like damaged, like all smashed up. Because that's what, actually, I was going to say that's not what the Car Wars, I almost said Star Wars. Car Wars counters look like. We had smashed up counters that were separate. And especially early on in the game's history, you had a bunch of wreckage counters that didn't match up to the cars you were actually driving. So that's the first counter sheet. Here's the second counter sheet for the vehicles. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's the pickup truck. And then this looks like this is kind of a minivan. That's kind of cool. I'm going to have to take a look to see who the artist is for these counters. All right, then we've got another counter sheet. This is the third one. Now, these counters are pretty small. These are all informational counters. So we have the damage boxes. I'm wondering, it looks like we don't have like specific sorts of damage. Let's see what we got on the back side of these. Nope. Just says damaged. So I don't see anything. I'm going to take a guess. We're probably not concerning ourselves with things like tire wear, like we did in Thunder Alley or in Grand Prix. So that is that. Now, as I mentioned before, we have 4 different tracks. And that's what is giving this game all the heft, the box. So got 2 of these. It's 2 that are going to be dual-sided. But before we jump into those, let's take a look at, we've got a bunch of cards. It's got quite a few different decks of cards here. All right, so it looks like we've got 2 that are race decks, and then these are combat events. Oh, I'm sorry, we got combat events and movement events. All right, so let's get ye old hobby knife. It actually needs a bit of sharpening, I think. I can tell you right now, I can feel that when I took these out, these are good card stock, nice card stock. It's not a linen finish, but that's okay. Looks like these are possibly identical decks. So we've got some ram movement cards. We've got line movement. We have pursuit movement. We have diagonal lead movement. Take a look, see what we've got here. Looks like this might be, yeah, I think these are duplicates, which is fine. I mean, it's just, we've got It's no doubt one big deck. See if we've got the RAM movement. Yep, RAM movement at the end. Okay, so we've got the two decks, which are no doubt essentially one big deck. So we've got that. Let's take a look at Bump and Run. These are the combat events. So it's possible that it turns out that when you're doing damage, that you're not, the abilities of the vehicle that gets damaged might not drop. Maybe you're just tracking up to 6 damage points and then it's destroyed. All right, so we've got, so what were these? These were movement events. Those belong over there. Okay, so here's the combat event deck. So it's showing different weapons. Looks like that's our collision damage for ramming, things like that. So there's no dice. You notice there's no dice in the game. So you're going to use these to find out how much damage your 3 types of weapons are going to do. So we've got machine guns, autocannons, and missiles. So kind of give you an idea. I'm not sure what this number up top might represent. Got a lot of 2s. There we go. There's some 1s. And we got some 0s as well. All right. So that is the combat event deck. Let's take a look at the movement event deck. So we see we've got, these are all, I think, oh no, they weren't. 3 bump and run, and then we have shot of Nas. So probably nitrous oxide. So bump and run. The active car may choose to move one adjacent car, front, side, rear, into a different space. That space must be vacant and adjacent to the targeted car. So we've got drifts, open road, shredded tire. Says the active car takes 1 damage. Engine failures. Okay, so here we're getting some specific types of damage, but it's just showing us that it does one point of damage. But that's cool. At least, I mean, that gives you some kind of a bit more of a feel for what's going, as opposed to just, oh, it's a point of damage, you know, telling, oh, fuel leak, bottomed out, greasing a landing, high flyer, open roads. So we got a few of those. Bounty, blown engine. Wow, that's 3 damage. Blown transmission, that's 3 damage. Out of gas. The active car takes 2 damage. Trans failure, bumpy ride, big air, bottoming out. Cool. Nice. I like this. Side swipes. So not only is it some different kinds of damage, it's also some specifics as far as the active car gets to move, or the active car gets to move another car near it into the weeds. Dangerous debris. Side swipes again. Got a few of those. Into the weeds again. Reloading. Says if the active car did not shoot before moving, it may not fire this turn. If it did fire before moving, place a reloading marker on the car. May not shoot before moving on its next activation. So they're reloading. Miss jump. Get there. So it says the active car may move solo 1 or 2 movement points as long as no occupied space is entered. All right, cool. So this is the movement event deck. So we've got these 2 decks. Now we're going to move on out. Ah, boo. Look at that. I didn't even notice that. This card is all chewed up. That sucks. See that? I'm not sure if you can tell really on camera, but it's right here. And that was not from my hobby knife either. It's just all chewed up because none of the other cards have that. If it was my hobby knife, it would have done that to a few of the cards, but no, it's just that one. Boo. Well, okay, so the reality is, if you're going to be playing this game a lot, and I would take a guess, I mean, this game looks pretty cool in my book so far. You would want to just sleeve these cards anyway to prevent things like that happening, because it is very easy to box a card. I don't think people realize just how easy it is to mess up a card. All right, so I'm gonna trying to move this out of the way, and then we are gonna take a look at the boards. I'm gonna zoom back out once I get this out of the bag. Looks like this is pretty big, so I highly doubt we're actually gonna get to see all of it in one shot. So I'll end up probably having to move the board around. And of course, I always say this. I'm sure people get sick of me saying this. When you're taking these mounted boards out of the plastic bag, be careful, because it's very easy to catch the edge on the Ziploc and tear it. That has happened to me. You do it once and you learn your lesson, and that is that. All right, yes, this is a big board. This is very, very big. All right, so, well, come on, open up you. Yep, that's funny. Let's try doing it this way, Jeff. It's like, why? Come on, unfold the right way. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so let's zoom back out. All right, so this is actually pretty good sized board. So we'll kind of take a look at it. Like I said, we've got 4. So this is the McGowan Orgel Sugar Run in Mexico. So we have a section for destroyed cars. We got race cards. Kind of crappy looking beat up track, right? So here we've got the different race teams down along the bottom as well. All right, let's bring this back over to here. So it almost looks like we got some sort of like citadel in the middle and slums, some ruins throughout here. So we've got a sequence of play showing on that side. We got combat cards. Artwork's very cool. I do like that. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so let's flip this on over. We're going to take a look at the other side here. So not as ruinous for this racetrack. So once again, we get a little area here that's showing the sequence of play. This is the Trinite Crater Run in Washington, D.C. Oh, okay, so there's the Washington Monument. That's pretty wild. Okay, so here's a crater. So maybe that's the crater they're talking about. That looks like that'd be the White House. I guess that's supposed to be the White House there. So that's pretty wild. Okay, so this is this board. So I don't have huge hands. I don't have tiny hands, but I don't have huge hands. But as you can see, this is a pretty good sized board. It's not huge. It's not massive where you're not going to be able to fit it on a gaming table. But it is actually 4 panels across, 2 panels up. So good sized game board here. Okay, so that is the 2 tracks here. Let's grab the other one. So this is the Andover Autodrome, and this is in England. I'll tell you what, for $72, you're getting a good amount of content in this box. And I would think, depending on how well this game goes over, I would think that you could see some additional expansions to this pretty easily. Okay, so, all right, come on, you. Behave. All right. So here we've got the Andover Autodrome. So as you can see, these tracks are a little different. So here, once again, we've got some ruins that are running through this area here. And here's the other side. And then let's take a look at this side. This is the Ascendarium in Springfield, Ohio, which for some strange reason, I think the Horgers live in Ohio. I don't know why that's popping in my head, but for some reason I think they live in Ohio. All right, so this is another track. Here we got actually a crossover. Got a bit of a crossover. And it looks like this might be a pit. Yeah, this looks like this might be a pit there too. So it almost looks, and you'll see this as I take a look at the other end of this board. So here's where you have our race cards again. Looks almost like we've got a chute. Almost like a chute that they're coming out of, right? So the race starts here, and they all come out, and then they race around just in this area here. It's kind of a small track. Cool. Nice. I'm looking forward to checking the rules out to this and getting a game going with my nephew Cameron, because he's a Mad Max fan. I turned him on to Mad Max. So, good old Uncle Jeff. All right. So we've got the 3 decks of cards. We've got the 2 different track boards. So we've got 4 tracks in total. We've got the larger counter sheet with the small counters. And we've got a couple of punch boards with the cars. We've got 10 different race team cars here. One thing I do notice, and I would take a guess this might be something, if, like I said, if this game goes over well, that they might consider doing with an expansion, is I notice you can't build your own cars. And I know that was one of the huge selling points of Car Wars. In fact, I swear we spent more time building our cars than we actually did playing the game. Anyway, that is everything from Apocalypse Road when we take it outside the box. So let's swing back over to the other camera and I will wrap up. All right, so I will have a review of Apocalypse Road as soon as I can. The pandemic's been causing havoc with getting multiplayer games reviewed. So, but I'm going to read through this and I will do my best to get a game going with my nephew Cameron, maybe his girlfriend Lexi, maybe even my best friend Elliot Miller. But I am really looking forward to checking this out. Because as I said before, I am a vehicular mayhem aficionado, I guess I'll say. Anyway, once again, Apocalypse Road is available right now from GMT Games. Carries an MSRP of $72. I mention this all the time when I'm sharing games from GMT. If you have any interest in picking this up, don't sit on your hands. Get it while you can. GMT Games does not do huge print runs of their games. So you don't want to be stuck there with something out of print. Then you're waiting for a second edition to come out. And you certainly don't want to have to pay top dollar on the secondary market. So keep that in mind. All right, that's it for this time out. Once again, let me remind you, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Because not only will it let you know when I upload videos such as this, it'll also let you know when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs right here on YouTube, Monday through Thursday nights. Almost said Monday and Tuesday nights. Monday through Thursday nights, as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, let me wrap up by saying what I do all the time at the end of my videos during this never-ending pandemic. Here's hoping all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. And of course, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, click right here. And of course, if you want to see one of the latest episodes of the Daily Dope, click right on up here. And if you want to roll the dice, take your chances, see what YouTube thinks you might like from the channel, give a click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and I'll see you next time.